Hi everybody, welcome to our 30-minute yoga class. My name is Beth and I'm so glad you're here. Today's class is a total body stretch. So if you're feeling tight today, you're in the right place. We're going to do a couple of long holds, which we've been working on. So far we've only done one long hold per class, but today we're going to do a couple more. So good for flexibility. As always, if anything doesn't feel right, modify it so that it feels good in your body. This is your practice. This is your time. Let's get started. We're going to start in child's pose. So come all the way down. Knees together, ankles together, reaching towards the front of your mat. Walk your fingertips forward. And then kind of melt into the pose. Relax your forehead to the mat. Relax your elbows. And just notice, especially in the very first pose of your practice, you really want to notice what you're bringing to your mat today. So maybe you've been sitting for long periods of time. Maybe you just woke up. Maybe you've had a busy day. This is the time to really check in with yourself. And this pose, especially child's pose, is great for that. So notice how this feels in your legs and your hips. Notice your shoulders, especially as you reach forward. You can roll your head from side to side as your forehead is resting on the mat. That's a nice massage for the forehead. So if you have a tension headache, that's a nice way to, attempt to release some of that. And then on your next breath, walk your hands over to the left. So off your mat as far as you can and stack your right hand over your left. Keep your neck nice and relaxed. Maybe your head is still on the mat or just resting in between your arms. And focus on that stretch on the right side of your body. So feel those ribs opening up and try to send that breath right into those ribs. Try to keep your hips even too. Sometimes there's a tendency for that right hip to lift up. Keep both hips resting on your heels. And then bring your hands back to center and walk them over to the other side. Same thing. Reaching over towards the right, left hand over the right hand. And now feel that stretch on the left side of the body. You might find that one side, the stretch is more intense than the other. That's not uncommon. So just notice that. No judgment. We're just noticing. And then bring your hands back to center. And let's make our way up into down dog. So tuck your toes. Down dog. Pressing those hips up and back. Try not to lock your knees. Press your left heel down into the mat and bend your right knee. And we're going to hold this for 1 minute right off the bat. Relax your neck. Push your hips back. Feel that nice stretch all the way from your left hip all the way down to your ankle. And remember, in these long holds, we want to take longer exhales. We recommend a 4-8 breathing pattern, 4 breaths in, 4 beats in, 8 beats out, and try to relax the body. Relax the shoulders and the neck. About 30 more seconds. Hamstrings are always tight, mostly because of our lifestyle. And tight hamstrings contribute to tight lower backs and all kinds of issues. So it's nice to try to stretch those out. Let's switch sides now. Right heel down, left knee bent. And try to stay with me here. If the wrists are getting a little tight, you can come onto your fists. So make a fist and lean into your knuckles. Or you can roll your mat back a little bit. But just melt into the pose. Let your body be like a wet noodle Relax your neck. Head is just hanging down. Using your breath to turn off the body's natural desire to resist a stretch. The body is a little worried that you're going to overdo it, but you're not. You're only holding it for a minute. So just a couple more breaths right here. That feels nice. All right, and then coming back with both heels on the mat, walk your feet forward or hop forward. And let's rest those shoulders by coming into a forward bend. If your wrists are a little tight from that, just roll them out a little bit. And bring your hands into your elbows, chin to your chest, and forward bend. Just let your body sway from side to side, or add any movement here that feels good in your body. You can turn your head from side to side, sway your upper body and your hips from side to side, whatever works for you here. And then pausing in the middle, release your hands down to your mat and squat down, crunch your body down, coming up onto the balls of your feet. So now your hips are going to be lifted, not your hips, your heels are going to be lifted up off the mat. Bring your hands to the mat. Relax your upper body over your legs and your knees. Bring your chin to your chest. Let your head kind of hang down. And let that lower body release down towards the mat. That's a nice stretch for the lower body here. It's a very restful pose for the whole spine. So we'll just hold here, not for a full minute, but just for a couple of breaths. So notice how that feels in your body. And then walk your hands forward a little bit, coming back into down dog. Just pedal it out. And then walk your feet forward or hop forward, forward bend. Inhale, come halfway up. This is a nice reset pose. Weight is in your toes. Chin is forward, maybe on your fingertips, or maybe your hands are on your shins or on your thighs, whatever you need. Pressing your shoulders back. Come back into your forward bend. Bend your knees, reverse swan dive, and come all the way up. Mountain pose, arms up overhead, elbows are straight, arms are parallel, standing straight here, shoulders are pressing down, belly's pulling in. And then we're going to come right into a chair pose. So leaning back into your heels, bend your knees, sit back down into that imaginary chair, reaching forward. Let's bring some heat into the thighs. Find your breath, keep your belly in. You can add a little pelvic tilt here if this pose is hard on your back. Sometimes it is. Inhale, hands to heart center. Let's add a twist here. Exhale, twist to the left. You can just twist gently. Make sure your knees stay together here. Sometimes when we twist, the side that we're twisting to, that knee is going to come back. That's because the hip is pulling back. So you want to keep the hips even, but the knees are a good gauge. So when you start twisting, look down at your knees. Make sure they stay aligned with each other. And then you can just twist gently, or if you want to go a little deeper, you can bring your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. So yogi's choice here, try to keep your hands at heart center. The other thing that happens here is that the hands come over to the left shoulder on this side. So lots of things to keep in mind here. But shut all that off and just notice the pose. Feel the breath. One more breath here. And release your posture into a forward bend. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, reverse swan dive, come all the way up, arms parallel with each other. Press those shoulder blades down. Spread your fingers. Root down through your feet. So do a little body check here. See how much you're working this pose. Are your toes spread? Are they gripping the mat? Are your kneecaps pulling up? Glutes engaged? Pelvic floor pulling up? Belly pulling in? Shoulders down? Top of the head reaching up to the crown. That's an engaged pose. Spread those fingers. Inhale. And as you exhale, come into your chair pose again. Rooting down through the heels. And maybe this second time you want to go deeper into the pose, or maybe you want to go more gently. Yogi's choice, always making the pose work for you and trying to stay present in it. Being present in your session is maybe what makes yoga different from any other things we do to stay healthy. Bring your hands to heart center and then twist to the right. Again, going gently, watching the knees, make sure they stay in alignment, or if you want to go a little deeper, clip the elbow to the outside of the knee. So make it your own. And breathe. Notice how the pose changes the longer you hold it. You'll start to feel fatigue. Fatigue is okay, pain is not. So if something starts to hurt, come out of the pose. Nothing should ever hurt in yoga. I've had yoga teachers tell me otherwise, that it's, go for the pain. That doesn't feel right to me. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. And exhale, fold. So we're going to stay in forward fold for a little bit. I'd like you to cross your right ankle over your left and then go deeper into the bend. It's a much deeper stretch through the hamstring. So notice how that feels. Some people like to rest their hands on blocks instead of all the way down on the mat. It's a little bit more gentle. So if you have blocks or books, or I've even used a couch cushion, that works too. Relax the neck. And then we switch sides. Bring the left ankle over the right, so you're just crossing at the ankles. Try to release into it. Notice how that stretch is different from just a normal forward fold. And then undo your feet. Walk your hands forward. Step back into down dog. Walk it out. Add any movement here that feels good. And pause in your down dog. So we're going to hold down dog for a minute. So find your best version of down dog. You can bend your knees a lot. You can bend your knees a little. You can come down onto your forearms. That's dolphin pose, but you can do that too. So that will prevent the wrists from hurting. So relax your neck. Let's do this for 1 minute. And we're not going to focus so much on alignment, but just more on relaxing the body. So using the down dog to stretch through the legs, little movement in the hips, pressing the shoulders down, relaxing the neck. Remember to use that 4-8 breathing or just extended exhale breathing, longer exhale than your inhale. And notice how it feels to hold down dog for a longer amount of time, and see if you can just relax into it. I know it's hard, but try to stay with it about 30 more seconds or so. Using the long breath, long exhale. If anything hurts, come out of the pose, of course. Okay, here we go. 20 more seconds. Try to keep your focus on your mat. It's really easy to think about other things. 2 more breaths right here. Here we go. Nice, everybody. Come down onto your knees. I'm going to turn frontwards. And just roll through your wrists. They do get a little tight in that. Open and close your fists a couple of times. And in hero's pose, sitting on your heels. So you have a couple options in hero's pose. You can sit. I'm sitting right on my heels. My ankles are together and I'm sitting on my heels. My spine is straight and my shoulders are over my hips. Knees are together. It's a very good stretch for the quads. Another way to do it, a deeper stretch, if you feel like you can go deeper, is to separate the knees and the ankles and then drop your hips in between your legs. That's more intense and that's harder on the knees, which you really want to be mindful of. So if that doesn't feel good, it's a deep stretch through the front of the legs too. If that doesn't feel good, come back to the original version. Or if you need a more gentle version from this, you can grab a block or 2 blocks or 3 blocks or books or pillows or whatever you need to lift your hips up off the mat. And that is a really nice pose. So choose the one that's best for you. Bring your hands on your thighs and just close your eyes here. Notice your breath. Without breathing any special way, notice what your breath is doing. Does your breath go down into your belly, or is it staying more in your chest? Chest breathing is considered a little bit more shallow, and deeper breathing is better for us. It brings more oxygen into our blood. It increases lung capacity, and these are important things, especially during these times when we're trying to stay healthy. All right, let's add another pose to this. So bring your arms out parallel with the floor. Left arm bends down behind your back. I'll turn to the back so you can see. And just shimmy your arm up as close towards your neck as you can, reaching your fingertips up. And then right arm comes up, reach up high and over, trying to bring your fingertips together. If they don't come together, that's okay. That's not the goal. The goal is just to stretch through the shoulders and the arms and the upper back. So if your fingertips are not reaching, that's okay. You can just hold on to your shirt. Take a deep breath in and press your elbows back and notice where you feel that. You can close your eyes and take a couple of nice long breaths here. And then release your arms. Roll out your shoulders a little bit. Bring your arms up overhead. And then release them to the side. And then same thing on the other side. Now this time the right arm comes down and shimmies up into the, right in between the shoulder blades, reaching up towards your neck. And then the left arm comes up. It helps if you reach up high first. And then try to bring the fingertips together. So you might find that it doesn't matter if the fingertips touch, but you might notice that they touch on one side and not on the other. So that's just something to be aware of. No judgment, just being always mindful of our practice. You can close your eyes. Notice where you feel this stretching in your body. Being grateful that we can move this way. Such a blessing to be healthy enough to move and breathe. And release your arms. Bring your arms up overhead. Spread those fingers. And then release your hands behind your back. I'll turn sideways so you can see. Behind your back, fingertips pointing towards your feet. Roll your shoulders back and down. And press your chest up towards the ceiling as you release your head a little bit. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Gentle back bend here. So enjoy that. Nice deep breaths. Feel the whole torso expand as you inhale. And then walk your hands forward. And then walk forward into child's pose. So just bring your hands forward. And let's just take a couple of breaths here to reset the body. Finding the breath. So we started in child's pose. Notice if this one feels different from the very first one you did. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Just notice that. All right, finishing up with one last sequence. Come into down dog. Pedal it out. Just release any tightness from that hero's pose. And then lift your left leg up behind you and bring it forward in between your hands. Steady yourself here. Play with the dropping of the hips a little bit. And then when you're ready, come up, lifting your arms up. And then open into warrior two. So nice strong posture here, arms reaching out in opposite directions, gaze over that left hand. Straighten your left leg and then turn your left toes so that they're facing the side of your mat. Bring your arms up overhead and then fold forward, pivoting through your hips. So straight back all the way down. And then bring your hands to the mat in front of you. Releasing your head so that the top of the head is facing the mat. Lean into your toes. And walk your hands over to the left. And then over to the right. So just kind of playing here a little bit. Going back and forth. And then finish up with the hands in the center. Come into a full forward fold with legs apart. So all the way down. Weight is in your toes. Maybe you can bring your elbows to the mat, or maybe not. That's a pretty deep stretch. Some people really like that pose, but they can't make it all the way down, so they use blocks under their forearms. So you can try that, or you can just bend your elbows as low as they go. Crown of the head, reaching towards the floor. Relaxing here, noticing the breath. This is a nice inversion. Come up into a flat back and walk your left hand a little towards the center in between your 2 feet. And then bring your right arm up towards the ceiling. Nice twist here. Maybe there's a straight line from one wrist to the other wrist. Turn your gaze up towards the ceiling. Try to see that thumb up there. Maybe your arm is out to the side. That's okay. Just go as far as you can into the pose. Stretching through that right shoulder. Twisting through the spine. Massaging the internal organs. Inhale. And exhale, release. Let's go right into the other side. So right hand on the mat. And then left arm comes up as we reach. Turn your gaze. Find that left thumb. And release. Bring that left hand back down to the mat. Toe heel your feet a little closer together. Turn your feet out to 45 degrees. And then see if you can drop your hips. You might need to adjust your feet a little wider or a little closer together. So play with that a little bit. But see if you can drop your hips. And then come back up with straight knees. Drop the hips. Go as low as they go. Some people go halfway, some people go all the way. It doesn't matter. Just go as far as you can go. Working the hips and the knees. Keep going. And then finish up with the hips up. Walk your feet back to hip distance apart into your forward bend. Step your feet back into down dog. And to finish up, we're just going to flow from down dog to plank. So find your down dog. And then come into, with your inhale, into a plank. Exhale, down dog. We're going to do this really slowly. And just continue with that flow. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, plank. Using your core, your navel, to kind of pull you back as you pull your navel in towards your spine as you're going into down dog. And then keep that core engaged as you're in plank. Last one here. And then bring your knees to the mat. Come all the way over onto your back. Pull your knees into your chest. And just rock from side to side. Just thanking yourself for doing this practice today as we wind down. We kind of take for granted when we, work out or exercise or do yoga. It's really a gift to ourselves. There's so many other things we could be doing, but good for you for choosing something that's so good for your body. Extend your legs out on the mat, bring your arms up overhead and reach. And then as you exhale, just relax into your favorite Shavasana pose. In yoga, palms facing up signifies your willingness to receive, whatever that means to you. So take it all in. Be aware of your body resting on your mat. These last few moments of your practice are especially the biggest gift, I think, the biggest part of your practice. So let's just pause here for about 6 long breaths. Trying to soften the muscles in your face, in your shoulders, in your arms. Allowing your body to just melt into your mat. One more breath. Bring your awareness back to your mat. Roll over onto your side. And then help yourself up into a seated position. I could have stayed there forever. That felt so good. Just pausing in simple pose. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open mouth, exhale. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Thank you all for joining me today. This was a great practice. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're enjoying all of the Driven YouTube videos. They're really awesome. I'm getting a lot out of them myself, so I hope you are as well. Join me next time, next week for another exciting episode of 30-Minute Yoga. Hope you all stay healthy and well. Namaste to all of you.